As we all know, RAM prices and SSD prices are out of control. And so getting every ounce of usage out of RAM and SSDs is super important at this point. And so I'm going to show you how to double your RAM and double your SSD storage on Linux. So what we're doing today is we are installing Ubuntu, and then it could be any Linux distribution though. This isn't specific to the distribution of Linux. We're going to be configuring BetterFS, or BTRFS, whatever. BetterFS, BTRFS to use compression, and we'll be configuring zram to double our storage capacity here. So first things first is we're just going to do a real basic install of Ubuntu. I'm picking Ubuntu here because, as you can see, we have a small 8 gigabyte SD card that we're doing the installation to. And obviously we're going to configure EFI here. And now our BetterFS format. Now, because I am installing to an SD card, things are going fairly slow here. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. One of the things that you're going to see here is on the installation, I'm actually going to remount the installation device to have compression turned on. I don't think Ubuntu does this by default. And I don't remember the commands, so here I am looking it up. And I'm going to use Z standard and set it to a fairly aggressive level here of 15. This will make the install take a significant amount of time. Thankfully, through the magic of video editors, we're going to speed all of this up significantly. Now you can see there I did a remount of the home directly incorrectly. I grabbed the wrong string there. I grabbed the sub volume of the @ and so I could have potentially screwed up my whole installation at this point. So I'm just going to rerun that mount for the home directory and fix that to @home. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up, but everything seemed to work correctly. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the root partition. And you can see that when I did the compression ratio, I put equals instead of colon. So I've corrected both of those, and we're just going to watch the installation fly by now. Okay, with the installation complete, going to reboot the computer. Now with my capture card, I don't actually get to see anything until the computer gets into the Ubuntu. So here we are, we're back in the menu. Now, for this installation, I'm trying to keep it as small as I can and actually usable. So what we're going to do next is we are going to rip out Firefox, replace it with Google Chrome, because the Snap interface uses a significant amount of storage. Um, I wanted to update my compression default settings in the Fs tab here, so let's back that up. I'm going to pause this for a minute. I'm going to back this up. We can see here that I'm setting the default compression to 9. This just means that as files are compressed, they'll be compressed at that ratio, and that's only for new edits. Now, when I update the Fs tab, I do like to update my kernel. I'm going to reboot again, and here we are installing Chrome, removing Firefox. Going through the various steps to remove Snap, and we're going to skip ahead a bit here. Okay, so we're making sure to run all the system updates as well. Running apt clean, and our installation right now is sitting at about 75% usage, or 5 gigabytes. We've got 1.7 gigs left on this install. We're going to install zram next. Now, zram by default will only allocate up to half of your RAM for the swap size. Typically, I find the zram to do a compression rate of about 3:1. So we're going to modify the zram configuration. And on Ubuntu, there's not a good file for this, so we're editing this file directly. And we'll just make it have twice as much swap available. And we can see here now we're at 8 gigs of swap, all based off of zram. Okay, now we're going to look at the BTRFS compression ratio here. And what we can see here is that right here, our disk usage is 3.6 gigabytes. If it wasn't compressed, it would be 5.9. Now, since I was partway through the install when I enabled compression, I may have missed some files, so I'm going to try and correct that by running the BTRFS tool. And we want the file system defrag call. And then I make a typo here. So I wasn't supposed to put a space here for the Z standard. And so it ended up doing everything with zlib compression, which was a little disappointing to me because zlib has a slower decompress rate. Okay, now we can see that we have two different compression formats. We've got the Z standard and the zlib. We can see that our total disk usage is 3.1 gigabytes, and if it was uncompressed, it would be 5.9 gigabytes. So essentially, we've almost doubled the space on this little device. This is a Chromebook I did the installation on.